Goal Setting, Part 1. Making a Plan to Get Ahead. SMART Goals. Why learn how to set goals? People who set a clearly defined goal and make a plan to achieve it are much more likely to get what they're after. Goals that aren't set effectively are less likely to succeed. What's wrong with these goals? I plan to get my GED so I can get a better job. I plan to improve my computer skills so I can get a better job. These are great goals to have, but we haven't set up any realistic time frame for reaching them. They're also not very specific about how they'll be reached. There are a number of questions we need to ask about either of these goals. Questions to ask yourself. When do I plan to complete my goal? What specific things will I have to do? How much time do I have to invest? What resources am I going to need? What roadblocks might come in my way? Thinking through these questions and coming up with a plan will help you reach your goal. Don't just set a goal, set a SMART goal. A SMART goal is one that is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Specific. What exactly do you want? While you might want to improve in math, the problem with making getting better at math as your goal is that there is a lot of math to cover. Are you expecting to do partial differential equations, or are you still working on your times tables? Set your goals as specific steps that you accomplish one at a time. If you have to eat an elephant, start by deciding which part of the elephant you want to eat first. I personally recommend the ear is particularly tasty, but that's just me. A more specific goal would be, I want to get better at adding fractions. Here are some more examples of specific goals. Instead of, I need to improve my computer skills, try, I will learn how to write a professional email when contacting potential employers. Or, I will learn how to record my appointments and tasks in an online calendar. Instead of, I want to get good in technical reading, try, I will be able to restate the main idea and main points in a technical document in my field. Measurable. How do you know you met the goal? I want to get better at adding fractions. We've now made our goal more specific, but we can still improve it. We need a way to tell that we have gotten better at adding fractions. Look at how this goal compares. I will keep working on adding fractions until I can get at least 9 of the 10 problems on a worksheet right without help. Now we know when we are done and are ready to move on to the next challenge. Achievable. Is this something you can do? I want to have my GED by the end of the month. Getting your GED, or improving your computer or technical reading skills, or starting an electrical apprenticeship are achievable goals. Absolutely. But if you are not realistic about how much time or effort it will take, you will set yourself up for disappointment. A more achievable goal might be, I want to pass the civics section of the GED within 2 months. Relevant. Is it really going to help you? There's a difference between being busy and actually getting something done. Some people try to spend their study time copying everything they read in their social studies book word for word. Or they come back to Khan Academy day after day until they've watched every single science video and their eyes are crossed. We've also found people spending time doing math problems they already know how to do. This kind of work feels good because you feel like you are busy and you don't have to actually think. But if you're not thinking, how are you learning? Don't work harder, work smarter. Whatever the goal you set, whether it is for your next progress test or for what you want to get done today, you need to ask yourself how it fits in the big picture. If you feel you're spinning your wheels on something, ask your instructors if they think it's relevant. Mastering fractions is very important if you want to pass the math section on the GED. Mastering stem and leaf plots, not so much. Time-bound. When are you going to do it? You've probably heard it said that someday is not on any calendar. Nothing pushes you to get going like a deadline. Pick one that will challenge you, but that is realistic. People often resist setting deadlines because they have no idea how long the task or goal will take. But the beauty of deadlines is that you can adjust them as you have more information. Also, as long as we're talking about time, every day that you sit down to study, ask yourself what you'd like to have accomplished by quitting time. Putting it all together, by my next progress test, my results will show that I have mastered adding fractions. This goal is specific. I'm going to focus on adding fractions. Measurable. My test results will show I got a certain number of problems right. Achievable. Everyone's different, but I think I can get this done by my next progress test. Relevant. I will need to be able to do this to pass the math section on the GED. Time-bound. My next progress test is in 2.5 months, so I know there's no time to waste. Activity. Smart or not so smart? On your activity sheet, write whether these goals are SMART, that is, are they specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound, or are they not so smart? Try not to evaluate these goals based on whether you yourself have that goal. For example, you may have saved up all the money you need and don't need to have saving money as a goal. However, if a person wanted to save money, is the goal SMART as it is written in this activity? Change the not so smart goals so that they become SMART goals. Pause the video to complete this activity on your worksheet. Let's see how you did. Make corrections to your worksheet as needed. Revise the not so smart goals to make them SMART. Pause the video if you need to. I want to save money. This goal is not SMART. It is not specific or measurable. How much will you save and how will you save it? It is also not time-bound. When will you have it saved up? I want to be a nicer person. This goal is not SMART. It is not specific or measurable. What do you mean by nicer? How do you know you've become nicer? It is also not time-bound. When are you going to do whatever you plan to do to be nicer? I will watch all of the history videos on Khan Academy. This goal is not SMART. It is not relevant. Watching all of the history videos involves spending a lot of time going into detail you won't need for the GED, and it doesn't even practice the skills you actually need to pass the social studies section of the GED. It is also not time-bound. When are you going to do it? My next progress test score will show that I have mastered adding fractions. This goal is SMART. Specific. You're adding fractions. Measurable. You'll know by your test score. Achievable. It may take patience, but adding fractions really can be mastered. Relevant. You will need these skills on the GED. Time-bound. Progress tests are approximately every 10 weeks. I will read an entire full-length novel within a month. This goal is SMART. Specific. You will read a novel. Measurable. You'll read all the pages. Achievable. Depends on how fast you read and how much time you have, but it does seem reasonable. Relevant. It'll help your reading skills, which you need for just about everything, including the GED. Time-bound. You'll do it within a month. I will meet people who share my interests by joining a club that interests me within 2 months. This goal is SMART. Specific. You'll meet like-minded people by joining a club you enjoy. Measurable. Joining a club, presumably talking to people there. Achievable. Surely you can find some sort of group that follows your interests. Relevant. It'll help you make friends, assuming that's what you want. Time-bound. 2 months. I will have my restitution paid off within X number of years. This goal is SMART. Specific. Which debt are you paying? Restitution. Measurable. Do you still owe money or not? Achievable. How fast you can pay it off depends on your own personal circumstances. Relevant. Paying off restitution takes a lot of pressure off you. Time-bound. X years, whatever X happens to be for you. I will pass one GED subject exam within X months. This goal is SMART. Specific. The subject exam you pick, for example, math or science. Measurable. A score of 145 or higher is a pass. Achievable. How fast you can do this depends on your personal circumstances. Relevant. If you're going for your GED, passing a subject exam is going to help. Time-bound. X months, whatever X happens to be for you. I will set up a professional email account and master the basics of sending, receiving, and organizing email within 1 week. This goal is SMART. Specific. You've named specific email skills you want. Measurable. Can you send, receive, organize your emails or not? Achievable. This is definitely something you can learn. Relevant. It will help you contact employers in your job search. Time-bound. 1 week. Make sure you've made the necessary corrections to your worksheet. Make sure you've revised the not-so-smart goals into smart ones. If you need time to think about them, go ahead and resume the video, but don't forget to go back and complete this task. Activity. Your own SMART goal. On your activity sheet, write out a SMART goal for yourself. It doesn't have to relate to your studies. In fact, at this stage, it's better if it doesn't. Your SMART goal can be about anything: developing a family budget, adopting a healthier lifestyle, taking a trip to someplace you've always wanted to go, etc. After you enroll and do your initial testing, we will help you write a SMART goal relating to your studies. Turn in your goal-setting activity to an instructor once you're finished. You can either hand it in physically, or you can take a picture and send it to the address below: pcaplernlabs@sc.pema.gov. Please make sure your instructor initials this item on your checklist so that you get credit for the activity.